Alright, hopefully this setup is going to work, and I wanted to do my contest response for vintage Oddball cards. He wanted to have a video about rubber banded cards, beat up cards that really shouldn't be around to this day but still are. And I just picked some cards from various sports. Now, disclaimer, I do not have any cards from my childhood. Those were thrown away a long time ago. I had done some book reports on the cards, and the cards were just thumbtacked and taped and stapled and ripped and folded and just really in not very good condition. And they were all 1984 tops, so there was no reason to save those. Some of the craziest cards that I had in my collection were recently replaced, gifted to somebody on YouTube, so they might be able to use those for their contest response, because I had basically upgraded the condition for like 35 cents a card on ComC or something crazy like that. So I'll show you what we have, and these are in some kind of order. I'll do the best I can do to tell you how I got them. So this is Howie Comives, and you say it's not too bad, but there's a huge rip right here, huge. These videotapes here are just kind of a back display, but I think this is Frankenfish right here. Welcome to the bottom of the food chain, and that explains all these cards here. Bunch of the creases on here, but a huge rip on the front. I was having trouble finding a lot of vintage basketball cards, so I was trying to pick a set that I wanted to build or get cards for autographing purposes, and I couldn't find a decent lot, and then I bought one. I'm not sure if all the cards were shown, but they were just totally ruined. There's some tape lost there. Somebody probably had a piece of tape there and ripped it. But this card is not in any kind of acceptable condition at all. We'll just use this as a card holder right there. Then I would have loved to have this in better condition. I found his address, I think, after he had passed on. I really wanted to get, because he was a star in the ABA, and this is Johnny Newman on the Tams. Somebody has decided that they would poke a hole there and give him a huge mole, or a zit or something right there, huge. But it's like a pin or a pin mark that goes all the way through the card. You may not be able to see it. There's a little light spot right there. It's very unfortunate. And the corners have been kind of dinged up there really poorly, so with the usual creases and that sort of thing. And then from this exact same eBay collection, I want to say it was under $10 for the whole lot. About 35 to 50 cards. I don't remember exactly. This is Tom Washington. I don't know much about Tom Washington. He was also, I believe, in the ABA, and somebody's wrote Poppies or Popies on it. P-O-P-I-E-S, it looks like. Or Poppets. I don't know. It looks like Popies. Or Poppies. Maybe it's Poopies. I have no idea. But the card isn't super disgusting because of the smashed corners, but somebody's written Poppies on it. That's bizarre. Tom's nickname is Trooper. So there's Trooper's card right there, in very not good condition there. If these are a 1, I'll be shocked. Here's a Dave Giusti or Gusty. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that. I got that at the card shop for 10 cents. I made sure that I bought this one. I couldn't pass it up for 10 cents. It had holes in it. And in fact, Dave Gusty signed it for me. Justy, or whatever his name is. He autographed it for me. Sometimes I figured they would take pity on me and send me a better card, and there was a couple people that actually did. But a really nice signature, but somebody has punched 4 holes on it and had it displayed somewhere. You can see the back of it much clearer. 4 holes there. 1963 tops. That was back when I didn't have very many of those. Now we're going to get into some other sport. Actually, we'll do this one next. This is Giant Gunners, and you just say, well, it's great. It's just got a little few surface wear there. But you can see there's a JM there, right there. Somebody has the audacity to put JM there. I wonder who that... John Mangini? Oh, man. But not only did somebody have the audacity to write JM right there, treat the front of it with disrespect, but they dropped it in mud. It's been dropped in mud and looks like it's been stepped on. I think that's a footprint there. I'm not 100% sure. I actually was able to minimize some of that mud on there and got some of it off. So it was a very unsanitary card when I got it, but I found it in a box of cards at the LCS, and it was like 20 bucks or 25 bucks takes the whole thing. And so that is really one of the grossest cards that I own. It's a mud-covered Willie Mays and Orlando Cepeda 64 Giants card. We have 2 football cards, and we're going to end up with a different telephone. Alright, well this video is going to be about as bad as the cards here. I just got a phone call and somebody said, oh sorry, wrong number. So anyway, what I was going to say, I had two different types of football style cards here. This is from 73, if I'm not mistaken here. And this is Alan Page. And Alan Page, all of his corners have been trimmed off by somebody. Again, I think these came from that same, I think it came from that same box at the LCS there. All the corners, and then somebody had, there was a star there, and I think I tried to see if I could minimize that star, and I made it worse. Somebody had drew that on there. I want to say that this was in somebody's, binder with the corners taped or whatever, and they just sliced them all off. So they sliced off all the corners there, and that is my 73 Alan Page. We got another one here. This is Manny Fernandez. I am slowly trying to replace these, but you cannot replace easily a Manny Fernandez that's been autographed by Mr. Fernandez. It was a very, very nice signature he's put on this card here. It shows that I'm a true card collector because even though all the corners are missing and a good chunk of the card is actually missing, I had him autographed, and I just think that's really pretty neat. Now these two I don't know a ton about, but I think I know the story is why they're so disgustingly smashed. I have already forgotten the dates of these. I think one of these is from 70, 69 or 70, and then this one is from the mid-60s here. These have designs very similar to Topps, but these are A and BC rugby cards. I want to say they're no, sorry, I'm sorry, Scanlons. I get the two mixed up sometimes. A lot of these outside of the United States used a lot of similar Topps designs. So A and BC and Scanlons used a lot of Topps designs here. This one here is Barry Bork and Brian Kennelly, and this is rugby. Oh my gosh, really thrashed card here. Absolutely, card number 37. There is the back of the card. The reason why most of these Australian rugby cards are just completely destroyed is because there was a popular game that you could play with these things. I think I was something to the effect of throwing them towards the wall, and then whoever's cards come closest to the... I'm not sure if that's quite the story there, but or maybe you kicked them or you flinged them, did this sort of thing. But, they're called footy cards. And so maybe you did something with that. It's been so long since I read up on that, but there was some sort of game that you played, and you flicked the cards, and that's why the cards, or threw them across the wall, and that's why they're so damaged. Very damaged. But this is meant to look like a TV set. I just think those cards are cool. Unfortunately, like this card here is probably $10 in this condition. They're just so rare to find any of these Scanlon cards in any kind of decent condition. Terrible condition. So there is one that you don't get to see very often. That's one of my favorite cards. And this is for North Melbourne. I don't know how to pronounce a lot of things because I've had people correct me, say, hey, this is this. And I was like, well, sorry, my Aussie accent is not really that great. Crikey, look at this North Melbourne Terry Benton utility card. Yikes. That's a... I don't know. It's okay. Anyway, Terry Benton, Utility 41. I just like this card. I needed one for my example set. It looks pretty good on camera, but there's a bend here, right here with a crease. There's some color loss right there. So I ended up on probably the best condition card I have here. And the backs are really cool because they're puzzle cards there. And I don't know, something about the third quarter. Something that scored at the end of the third quarter. That's pretty neat there. I really know very little about these, but I really enjoy the designs. If you hold on for a second here, I'm going to show you one more card here. If I can get to the binder here. I put those in my soccer binder because I'm not exactly sure where to put them. But the other reason why I collected those last cards there is because... Now here is the opposite example. This one's in really good condition, but there's just like a stain on the front. But this is Robert Amos. Doesn't that look like 78 football? Isn't that crazy? 78 Topps football. That's a Scanlon's card there. Really amazing. So those are the cards that I have for the collection. Nothing too crazy. No great, stories or any kind of other... Oh, I mean, I guess I could show you... Was there another one here? Well, here's a newer one here. So, I mean, the card damage does not belong to just the 60s and 70s. It happens in the 80s and 90s. There's Stephen James, and somebody has written in Sharpie there, or some sort of marker, number 17 or 19 there in the corner there. And the corners are all white-edged and damaged. You know, the back is pretty good there, but, you know, it just happens in every card in every country. So I'm kind of low on battery, but that's what I have for Rick Vintage Oddball cards. I just don't have some of the craziest examples, but I did want to show some cards that you guys have never seen before, like this North Melbourne card. Oh yeah, this North Melbourne card. Isn't that a beauty? Crikey. I can't do Aussie accent, thank you.
Unbelievable! This has been the most awesome thing in my entire life. Have a look at this.